Morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to be doing a read aloud with the book The Best Nest, and it's by P.D. Eastman. Mr. Bird was happy. He was so happy he had to sing. This is Mr. Bird's song.
I love my house, I love my nest, in all the world my nest is best.
She doesn't look very happy, does she? Then Mrs. Bird came out of the house. "It's not the best nest," she said. "I'm tired of this old place," said Miss Bird. "I do not like it. Let's look for a new place right now." So they left the old place to look for a new one.
This place looks nice,
said Mr. Bird.
Let's move in here.
But somebody else had already moved in. So they looked at another house.
This one looks nice,
said Mr. Bird.
And there's nobody in it.
What do you think's going to happen? "You're wrong," said Miss Bird. "This house belongs to a foot." So they went on looking.
I like this one,
said Mr. Bird.
It has a pretty red flag on the roof.
"I've always wanted a house with a flag," said Mrs. Bird. "Maybe this place will be all right." What do you think is going to happen? But it was not all right.
I guess I made a mistake,
said Mr. Bird. "You made too many mistakes," said Miss Bird. "I'm going to pick the next house. And here it is, right here."
Mrs. Bird is kind of a bucket dipper.
They flew in. They looked around.
"Isn't it too big?"
said Mr. Bird. "I like this big place," said Miss Bird. "This is the place to build our new nest." Now what do you guys think is going to happen? They went to work. They needed many things to build their nest. First, they got some hay. They got some soda straws and broom straws. They got some sweater string. They got some stocking string and mattress stuffing. They got some horse straw. They got some man hair.
That horse doesn't like his hair being pulled out.
Soon they had all the hay, all the straw, all the string, all the stuffing, all the horse hair, and all the man hair they could carry. And they took it all back
to build their nest.
Mr. and Mrs. Bird worked very hard. It took them the rest of the morning to finish their nest. "This nest is really the best," said Miss Bird. "I want to stay here forever." What do you think's going to happen, guys? Mr. Bird was very happy too. He flew to the top of his house and sang his song again.
I love our house, I love our nest, in all the world our nest is best.
He was so busy singing he didn't even see Mr. Parker coming. What do you think Mr. Parker is going to do, boys and girls? Remember, they live on top of the bell. Every day at 12 o'clock, Mr. Parker came to the church. Mr. Parker came to pull a rope. The rope went up to the bird's new nest.
Looks like he's pulling pretty hard. His feet are even off the ground.
Yeah. The rope rang the big bell right under Mrs. Bird's nest. Bong, bong, bong.
Boys and girls, what do we call those sound words? We went on a sound hunt before. Remember, it's called onomatopoeia. Fun word.
Miss Bird got out of there as fast as she could fly. Bong, 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 bong. It's a lot of bonging. When Mr. Bird came in, all he could see was a mess of hay and string and stuffing and horsehair and man hair and straws. Where was Miss Bird?
I will look for her until I find her,
said Mr. Bird. He looked high and he looked low. He looked everywhere for Mrs. Bird.
You can see his trail. The line shows where he's been.
He looked down into the chimney, but Mrs. Bird was not there.
Looks like that has a lot of fire coming out of that chimney.
He looked down to a water barrel, but Mr. Bird was not there.
But
Mrs. Bird was not there. That horse looks a little surprised.
Why would she be in a water barrel?
I don't know. Then he saw a big fat cat, and there was a big fat smile. On the fat cat's face, there were some pretty brown feathers near the fat cat's mouth. Mr. Bird began to cry.
Oh dear,
he cried.
This big fat cat has eaten Mrs. Bird.
Mr. Blue flew off.
I'll never see Mrs. Bird again, he cried.
It was getting dark. It began to rain. It rained harder and harder. Mr. Bird could not see where he was going. Crash! Crash! Mr. Bird bumped into something.
What do you think he bumped into?
I don't know. It was his old house, that old house that Mr. Bird did not like.
Mrs. Bird did not like. I'll go inside,
said Mr. Bird.
I'll rest here until the rain stops.
What do you think he's going to find inside? Mr. Bird went in, and there was Mrs. Bird sitting there singing, I love my house, I love my nest, in all the world this nest is best.
Ooh, now she gets to sing it, boys and girls. You? Here? Gasped Mr. Bird. I thought you hated this old nest.
Why do you think she changed? Miss Bird smiled. I used to not like this house, she said. But a mother bird can change her mind, you see. There's no nest like an old nest for a brand new bird.
Aw, They're going to have a baby. And here it is.
So, do we think that Miss Bird changed because she realized that there was no other good place that was really for her?
All right, boys and girls, go fill out your problem and solution page. Have a great day.